USA, we pay the most for your car. Visit Buy Here, Pay Here USA in Cleveland, Dayton, or Chattanooga, or go to buyheresellhere.com. That's buyheresellhere.com. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
No dealers allowed.
Jackson Catnip. Family.
Turn it off. Okay, folks, welcome to Whoop FM this morning. Coach Schriver in the morning show. Sorry we had a little technical problem here. I pushed the wrong button again of all mornings after I've been trying to get all these people on here to listen to us. And but it's good to see you this morning and hear you on the radio. It's 19 degrees out there this morning, and going to be 25 tonight. And can you believe it? It could hit 60 over the weekend. Can you believe that that's a possibility? I got a little technical difficulty this morning. I apologize for that. I kind of got carried away on my.
Coach, you want to open up with a theme song here?
Well, let's do that, folks.
All right.
Let's get us going. See if you remember this theme song, folks. Think hard now, folks. Back in the day.
Maybe a moose was on this?
I don't know. Could be.
A farmer?
Farmer. I remember those days. Back in the day. That went off, come back on. We're back up now, so don't want to lose you. All right, here we go. Anybody remember that?
I closed it out.
Huh? Replaying. All right, here we are. Little.
All right, Coach, let's try it now.
Yeah, let's try it. See what's going on here. I tell you what, must be
Well, there's
cold
some
out there.
spirits out there.
Must be cold out there this morning. I tell you, this equipment's going crazy. It's still playing, as best I can tell, but it's off. How about that?
Almost an echo effect.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Okay, I'm sorry about that. We'll try to do the best we can this morning of all times.
Coach, I think this live stream is a little delayed on that part, so I think we're hearing the delay on that because it is delayed.
Yeah.
We're hearing the volume on it.
Let's hope we can get rid of it here and get back to normal. I apologize, folks. When you got a layman doing work like this, sometimes it's ugly. That's why you don't put me on the fire lines, or why you don't put me on the emergency lines, or why you don't put me on whatever lines, okay? Sean? All right, here we are back here. I hope
That's what's happening, Coach.
Oh, golly. I apologize, folks. I feel real bad about this. After I try to get all my people to watch today, and then We okay now? Let's hope. Okay, we'll hope it is now and try to get back here. We got a special guest with us today. We hope to get to him soon here. Got Sean Fairbanks in from the Bradley County Emergency Management, and he's a jack of all trades, and he's glad he doesn't have me on his team right now, because since knowing that evidently I'm having a little problem with this.
They're looking for a new 911 director, Coach. Maybe you could apply for that.
God, that would blow things up, wouldn't it? Well, Wilson would go crazy if he thought somebody like me was taking that over right now. But anyway, we're sure glad to have you here again this morning on Coach Schriver and the Morning Show. I hope you are being able to watch here. And like I said, it's 19 degrees out there this morning. We got going to be 25 tonight, I believe, and then going to get warmer this weekend. Schools are back in session today, I think, so all of them are. And so please be safe out there as you're going to work and school, and watch those buses and watch for those signs and protect everybody and be safe. And all that white stuff that you see on the sidewalks and the roads right now, that's not snow, folks. That's a lot of salt. There was a lot of salt put down. And advice to you would be to wash your cars as soon as you can and get that salt out from underneath it, because I tell you, it'll eat. Coming from the Northland, if my cousin happens to be listening up there in Rochester, if I didn't turn him off early this morning. Anyway, the Northland, that salt eats your cars up, rocker panels, everything. I mean, it's pitiful. If you've ever seen a northern car drive through in the wintertime and seen the snow on them and the salt and all that kind of stuff, it is amazing. So have to be careful out there and take care and clean your cars up, especially underneath, because that's why those car washes are so important. And they will help clean underneath that and get that salt off. Okay, we're here this morning, Whoop FM 99.9, Coach Schriver in the morning, 614-5553, and if you're out of town and you're out of state, put a 423 in front of that. Give us a call and say hello. Looking forward to getting our special guest in here. We have Sean Fairbanks with us. He's going to give us a lot of good information that we all need. He scared me yesterday. I could have swore I saw him at the local restaurant, and when he was leaving, I heard him say something about 8:15, which made me think he might not be here until later, so I had to send out a little reminder last night just to make sure he understood that I'm sure I must have heard it wrong. So anyway, and my sidekick here, Mr. Casta, this morning, one of our local councilmen, and he's been working on some music and stuff for us, and so we might jump in here with what do we got there, sir?
Whatever you want to do. You want to do something with the fire department? We can do that, Coach.
Let's do that.
You want to do Paul Harvey about a fireman? Talk about firemen.
Let's do Paul Harvey. That'll be good. I haven't heard Paul in a long time.
Well, let's do that then. Here we go.
Here we go. Listen up, folks. If it works.
Why firemen are firemen. Not even they could tell you why. But it is time somebody try. Firefighting is the most risky of jobs. Fire and ice are uncomfortable separately or together. Wives hate the hours, kids love the noise. Fire and ice. Any day at the firehouse, the bell puts the dispatcher on the horn with a tenement tinderbox address, into bunker pants, rubber turnout coat, grab the mask and go. Minutes later, you're on site. As others run out, you go in. You'll need all you can carry. The 4-pound axe, a 6-foot hook, the Halligan pry bar. The ceiling has to come down, and it's one of those stubborn tin ones. In the scary dark, you're gouging out and tearing loose and pulling apart, gulping air and tasting black. Your windpipe is closing, and you've lost track of which way is out. Is it really worth it? They've cut your ladder company from 6 men to 5, so now everything you do is 16.67% more difficult and more dangerous. Your air is low. Inside your mask, you're throwing up. There's a searing ember down your neck, torn gloves exposed, a smashed hand, so you emerge from the Holocaust hugging with your elbows somebody's singed kitten. Back at the station house, you can almost breathe again. Next come the tedious hours as you gang up on grimy tools. The cleanup crew at the firehouse is you. When windows need washing and toilets need cleaning and floors need mopping and beds need making, you do it. Is it worth it? Your B crew pumper swapped his day shift so some family guy could be home for his kid's birthday, and then outbound toward a false alarm, your buddy gets blindsided by a hot rod driven by a drunk, fire and ice. The intercom barks again. This time it's a warehouse. A big, fat, multiple blazed on-site engine men draped with icicles, dragging a three-quarter pre-connect froze hose, are waiting for your big line. Laddermen can't make the building without you. Search, rescue, ventilate. Eventually it's over and out. You're smoke-smudged and sleepless and wrung out. But this one you won. But the raging blaze that wanted to consume adjacent buildings did not, because you were there. Back at the firehouse before cleanup, you and the guys sit a spell, tired but they laughing, feeling good about one another. Nobody outside your world can ever know this feeling. In any other uniform, you get streets named after you. In this one, you risk your life to save people until one day you run out of chances, and at one final fire, either you buy it or you don't. And yet there is no third way that you'd ever leave this job, and you're doubting even God knows why. When you hear his familiar voice saying, "It is worth it," and you're hearing this voice, and there's nobody there but you. It's a quiet voice from nowhere saying, "It is worth it." Fireman.
Okay, folks, food for thought there. Just think what he said. Now, all those kind of things, and we're so thankful for everywhere, all over the country. I'm so thankful for their firemen and the fire departments and individuals like Mr. Fairbanks that we have with us here today. Sean, good to have you with us, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're always good. I'm glad we finally got you on here. Tom Cry tried to get me to get you on here a long time ago, so I'm sorry about that. Before we get into this, folks, I didn't know if you all realized. You know what today is? What's today, Mr. Cassida?
Popcorn Day. How about
Popcorn
that?
Day. Hey, cuz, if you're out there listening, I hope you are. I really do. I'm sorry about the beginning, but the thing about it is, back in the day, I remember, I was telling Tom earlier, we used to make big old pots of popcorn. I mean, that's when we had these big old metal pots, big, huge things, and we'd put that oil in there, throw that real popcorn in it, none of these air poppers and none of these microwave poppers and all that kind of good stuff with all that other whatever's in there. Just real good old popcorn. Pop a big old pan of that stuff. Of course, back in the day, we had black and white TV. Of course, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have a clue what that is. They wouldn't appreciate it if they saw it. But again, we used to watch on Sunday afternoons. We'd watch this. This is up in New York. We'd watch the Giants play football, and we'd sit there and eat a pan of popcorn like nothing. I mean, that's when a snack was a snack, folks. That's when, you didn't have just, they didn't weigh out 6 ounces of popcorn or something like that. Man, you were a big guy. You ate a pound or a ton of it. Of course, that's why I'm so healthy today.
Yeah.
Probably because, hush. I heard that.
Jiffy Pop.
Did you hear that?
Jiffy Pop. You remember that? Remember Jiffy Pop?
Jiffy Pop, yeah.
Take the thing off of it.
Those were kind of neat.
You talk about consuming, Americans today consume about 13 billion, that's with a B now, not a million, billion quarts of popcorn a year.
How about that? Isn't that interesting? Here's another thing. Let me throw this out to you, folks. Did you know that back in 1972, I remember this very well because of where it comes from, Sandy Koufax, Yogi Berra, and Early Wynn were elected to the Hall of Fame. That's 1972. Now, 1972 was my first year. 71 and 72 was my first year in Cleveland. And but I do remember that happening. The first episode of Dick Van Dyke Show is filmed. Now, here's a question. Here's a trivia question for you out there, folks. Who played Dick Van Dyke's wife on the Dick Van Dyke Show? We just lost his brother. His brother just passed away, Jerry. He was real good on the Coach and all those different type things out there. And you got something going?
I got something I'll play while you're talking about
here.
there.
Let's see what my man's got going here.
Theme.
Remember that? Remember the hassock he fell over? Comes in the front door, trips over the hassock. He showed you how to fall back then. All right, folks. All right. Okay, let's get back to some serious stuff here. First of all, again, I want to thank Mr. Fairbanks for coming in to be with us here today. Excuse me. We're gonna try to find out some things about exactly. Now, from the very beginning, I've goofed up what your job is. I've called you the Bradley County Emergency Service Fire Person. I've butchered it up several times. So, Sean, thanks again for coming. And just exactly what is your job?
Well, that's a good question, but I guess the reason everything gets goofed up is because of the multiple jobs.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
The EMS director is one of the titles that I have, which runs the ambulance service here in town. And then the second job would be Bradley County Fire Chief. So what we did, Mayor Davis decided to wrap that up into one big happy title, and it is called the Bradley County Emergency Service Director. So it entitles and catches both of those services.
All right. So let's put it this way. I don't know. I'm not sure about how you figure it in here, but can you say, like, how many people are you connected with as far as working with or under you in that kind of a situation?
Both departments, I have probably 65 full-time employees at EMS with about 30 to 40 part-time. And then at Bradley County Fire, I have about 62 to 63 full-time firefighters with probably 40 or 50 volunteers on the roster. So just a good round number when you cut all that to put it all together. I'd say there's roughly 300 people.
Unbelievable.
That we have helping protect Bradley County.
Yes. And as I said earlier, we're losing one here. Going to retire or has retired, I guess. Is he still around or is he gone?
Joe Wilson is happy and retired.
Is he?
We got to talk to him the other day. I'm actually on the selection committee to find the new 911 director, and we are actually consulting with Joe Wilson in that process.
Yeah.
He's trying to help us narrow the selection down. I actually started application process on Wednesday of this week to start looking for his replacement.
Yeah. Do y'all have a time frame on that? What y'all looking for? Try to fill that position? Huh?
A long time.
I mean, to fill the position, do you
yeah.
have a time frame that y'all are looking at?
Right now,
set out
actually,
there?
Sherry Maxwell is his assistant director, and she has actually stepped into the interim position at this time. And the committee and the board has actually decided we're not in a huge hurry.
Well, you want to do it right?
But due diligence to find the right person, and but not to make a hasty decision.
Yeah. I remember when my grandson was 2 years old, he got a hold of our phone, and he's just pushing dials. I mean, pushing the number like this. Next thing I know, on the other end, I hear Mr. Schriver, and it was Mr. Wilson. And he says, "Are y'all having trouble there?" And I said, "Oh, please excuse me. I'm sorry. My grandson got a hold." And evidently he hit 911 by mistake. And so I was eating crow there for a while on that one. But
our system is the enhanced system, very, very technological system. And if you don't answer, we will come find you very quickly.
What happened to my wife just 2 days ago on her watch? She hit her watch and started going off a funny sound. I was like, what is that sound going? And my daughter said, "Mom, you've hit your watch and hold it. It sets 911 off." Sure enough, here they are. They're calling right after that. "Hey, you're okay. We've got a call in." So
yes.
Well, it's good. It's good to know that it does work, even though sometimes it's a pain in the tail, I guess, because of what some things do happen. And but again, it's a very, very valuable service to us. I know I've had an opportunity to have to deal with it a few times myself. They've had to come and pick me up a couple times, and it is a very, very important thing in our community. All right, so what do you contribute the greatest part as far as your job? I know it's got to be safety. Safety has got to be the most important thing because you're trying to protect the people in the community. And, as individuals, we are quick to assume, okay? We assume everything's going to be great, everything's going to work well, all the alarms and whistles and all that kind of stuff are going to be perfect. But is there a particular area that you have to just keep a special eye on?
That's every call you go on, and like you said, safety is number one. And most of the calls we go on, the problem is you don't know what you're getting into. One of my first partners was Sonny Hayes, and he was a paramedic. He still is with Bradley County. He's in our training division now, but Sonny was back from the 70s on. I was born in 72, and you were talking about your trivia there just a minute ago. But
a young man.
Yeah, I tell you.
Well, he makes me
responsible
feel
for 300 people.
Oh, jeez.
but
If I have 3 people responsible for, I feel.
But Sonny Hayes mentored me when I first came in. I was put with him for a while, and Larry Spence, he's a longtime paramedic. We've got Joe Thomason, Kevin Felton, a lot of those guys that came up before me, and just some of the debriefing you do while sitting around the station, because you see a lot during the day in emergency services. But Sonny Hayes tells a story to kind of get back to what you were talking about. He got a call for a chest pain late one night, early in the morning, and gets up, gets in the truck. They go out to the call, and when he got to the call, the guy was sitting in the chair in the kitchen holding his chest. And he said, "Hey, partner, how long's your chest been hurting?" And he says, "Well, ever since my wife shot me." So you never know what the call is until you actually get there. So the first question is not anything else about his chest pain, but where's your wife? Because your safety comes first.
That's weird, man.
Yeah.
That is, oh, God. Hey,
Hey, I've heard of firemen also with police officers when they show up at the scene. People get hostile against police officers. As firemen show up, they have no problem with them. And I understand, too, that firemen sometimes will pull people off of police officers, in that situation.
Different scenarios, kind of like what you're talking about, I've experienced a lot of. The other day we had a structure fire about 2 weeks ago, and I roll up to this structure fire on the south end of the county, and it was actually a chicken house. And the ceiling was on fire. One of the heaters had caught the ceiling on fire. And as I had one of my firemen bring me a thermal imaging camera because we wanted to see where some hot spots were, because the whole 500-foot-long building was full of smoke, and you couldn't tell where the fire was coming from. I just kind of stepped around in the doorway of the chicken house, was going to hold the thermal imaging camera up to see what was going on inside, and I done had firemen going in, and a lady jumps in front of me, and she says, "Well, sir, I can't let you in this building. I can't let no one in this building. You need to get out of this building, and I want you to get all your men out." And I said, "Ma'am, I'm the fire chief, and you've called 911. This building actually belongs to us. It's our responsibility right now. I need you to step back." And she says, "I can't let you in." And I said, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step to the side." So then I had to call the police, the sheriff's department, to come and kind of explain to her the situation. I mean, there were 20.
Now, that's weird. Again, this is too many weird things here. Well, why did she think that?
Well,
So when you get on the scene, it takes over. You take over the scene is what you're saying, correct?
Yeah,
I mean, you're responsible. I mean, you've got all authority, or if it's private property, whatever.
When 911 is activated, the emergency service responder actually is in charge of that scene to make sure everything's safe. It's a public safety issue at that point in time. So that is like police officers, they want to come in your house and search it. They can't without a search warrant. But once 911 is activated for EMS or fire, where the situation's already degraded to the point where the help is needed, then yes, the right is taken to go in.
And that's a perfect example. If you don't have a warrant, but if you have suspicion that someone is in danger, or if you have that someone is in the building is in danger, then you have
life safety.
Yes. That's a good point. Tom, you got something you want to ask there?
I just, as kids and stuff, did you dream about being a police officer or fireman as you were a young age?
Of course, when the fire department comes to your school when you're little and does fire prevention and stuff, and you get your plastic helmet.
Did that inspire you to be where you're at now?
Actually, that's a weird story. Yes, as a little boy, you always have those aspirations, I think. Some little girls do even. I actually employ some female firefighters now, and they're
You got
awesome.
2, correct?
I have 3 now.
3, okay.
Just put another one on. One graduated this past Sunday and put another one on. So I have a girl on each battalion now at fire, and they're very, very good girls and do a very good job. But by the time I'd made it to high school, that was not my goal at the time. I was actually into welding and machining, and was going to seek a career in that, and had been focusing on all that at Bradley High School. I took all those vocational classes and was going to, I even had offers for companies that were going to send me to Athens Votech afterwards, get some more certifications, and go to work in that industry. Something was eating away at me by the time I was a senior in high school, and I had two uncles that were Cleveland firefighters, and I actually went and talked to them. One's Donnie Sullivan, the other one was Mikey Sullivan.
Donnie Sullivan just retired here, last year.
Is this for the second time or third time? What time was that?
What is ironic is Donnie is back at the Bradley County Fire Department as the assistant chief and arson investigator, and now I'm his boss, and he's my uncle.
Okay,
so
I didn't know that.
he works part-time, and he has a good time with it.
That's good.
But I went and talked to them and stuff. I wanted to, I don't know, I had a desire to get started in it, and I never knew that it would be at the top of the chain one day. But I went and talked to them, and they said, at that time, Charleston Fire Department had the only volunteer fire department in our county. Some of the guys that I knew had said, all you got to do is show up at a monthly meeting and kind of go talk to them and see if they'll take you. So I remember walking into the Charleston Fire Hall one Thursday night. They had their monthly meeting at 7 o'clock, and I sat on the couch, a little skinny boy at the time, 18 years old, and still a senior in high school. And Dave Thompson was the fire chief up there at that time, and they sat and had their monthly meeting. I never said a word. I was sitting in between Philip Shelton, Jeff Howard, and just kind of squeezed into that couch as the guys lined the walls in that office. And after the meeting, it kind of got quiet for a second, and Dave Thompson, wearing his butcher's hat and a big hard helmet thing he wore, he said, "Son, so you want to be on the fire department?" Never said nothing else to me but that. And I said, "Yes, sir." And I walked up in front of the desk where he was sitting, and he said, "Where do you live?" And I told him where I lived. He said, "Well, Philip." Philip jumps up and he says, "Get this guy some bunker gear." And he said, "You're on the fire department." So the process is a lot different now. A lot of training goes into it, a lot of effort, protection, safety. It's a 10-week course that we put our guys through, rookie school. Like I said, we just graduated 4 more on Sunday, had graduation over at Lee University. We did a ceremony for them and stuff. It's very nice. All of our family gets to come, and they get to show off their skills to Bradley County now, and we're glad to have them. So
that's good.
That's kind of how I got started.
Let me ask you, how many departments do we have in the county that you're dealing with, stations or whatever?
Okay, the fire department has 4 full-time stations. We have Menace Road, Dalton Pike, Georgetown out by VEC,
Old Tasso.
And then Tasso up there at Station 10. And then this past summer, we sat down and tried to utilize the most manpower that we had to do the best job we could for Bradley County, and started, instead of building stations, we have a bunch of equipment that, sorry, that's a call going off now.
No problem.
We had
do whatever you have to do.
Oh, no, it's fine. We got good people out there taking care of us. We actually sat down and did our numbers and looked without buying any other equipment, without building any other stations. Because of our volunteer stations, there's 8 volunteer stations that we had in our county that they built back in '95, and still that equipment's there, and we have some volunteers that still are active. But what we did is we utilized 3 of those stations, which were McDonald, Taylor, and Prospect, and opened up those stations and pulled 2 firemen from off each crew, each battalion, and actually put them out in the outlying area. We're trying to better our response times, get the first engine there, start pulling hose lines, doing your 360s to make sure there's no endangerments around the building. By that time, the other units are starting to show up, and you start attacking the fire. So altogether, we have around 13 fire stations in the county that serve. And then on EMS, we have our Paul Huff station, and we have our East Side station across from Cameron's Restaurant on Dooley Street beside the health department. And then what I did is took our other trucks because we run about 8 ambulances during the daytime in Bradley County, and station those guys in the county fire halls where the active firemen are running. So we kind of slid them.
Now, do you do the same thing that the city does? Like when you have a call, does the fire trucks and the EMT go out at the same time?
Yes, we have a system built where our protocol says that fire gets a first response on these calls. That'll be your stroke calls, your acute chest pains, possible heart attacks, unresponsives, all car wrecks that EMS goes to that's with injuries. There's certain protocols that are set out there. It says, yes, a fire truck goes with this ambulance. Mm-hmm. So EMS is very busy in this town. Last year we ran 27,393 calls. The year before that, it was 26,816 calls. So we're growing anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 calls per year. The county is busting at the seams, and we're trying to keep up with that demand. And we do a lot of Chattanooga transports, take people to Erlanger, Memorial, Park Ridge, wherever they want to go. And that takes about 2-hour turnaround time by the time you get the patient, take it down there, get your bed at the ER, then get back to Bradley County. So the fire trucks are utilized because we have the certification to be at the fire department is EMR, which is Emergency Medical Responder, which is basically a first responder.
Right.
And then a lot of our guys are very good about going and getting their advanced EMT license, and then some of them even do paramedic license. So they're very well utilized if they're needed to help the medic crews when they get out there on these calls.
I remember a few years back, I won't say how far, but we were driving home from Athens, where my wife's family lives, and coming through Charleston. And being the good Samaritan that I was, I'm seeing this flashing into this little house. There's a little building right there in the corner, right across from the fire hall, right in front of the school. Still sits there in the corner. But I would have bet my life on it there was a fire in that thing. So I pulled the alarm over there, false alarm, as it turned out. And I was down there where they had that little outside thing. I guess it was on a police station or what. And I pulled that sucker. And I'm telling you, they come out of the woodwork coming down through there. And so we had pulled up there. When they started coming in there, and I walked over there and I said, I'm afraid I'm the person that's responsible for this, because I thought that was a fire over there. I remember, I think I had a couple students that was in that group, ex-students from way back, and they said, Mr. Schriver. I said, oh, embarrassed. Tell me. But he said, that's all right. We needed a meeting anyway. Yeah. So they went in there and had. Okay. So how many, is Charleston mainly a volunteer place?
Charleston is still a volunteer department where there's no full-time people up there, but probably some of the most active and reliable volunteers.
Well, they were efficient, man. I'll never forget that.
I remember back when the 1990 was when I joined up there, and I was there 7 months before the I-75 pileup happened.
Oh, God.
I was actually still a senior at Bradley High School, and I remember someone walked into my math class, one of the attendants or the assistants to the office, and said something to the teacher. And then they walked out of the room. She called me to the front, and she said, bring all your stuff with you. And I walked up. She says, hey, there's a pileup on I-75. Apparently, you need to go to it. And I said, well, I don't get to go on calls when I'm in school and stuff. But I don't remember.
Needed you. That was ugly.
That was a very bad day, yes. But as 18-year-old young man and still in high school and stuff, and then responding to the I-75 accident, I think I stayed there for like 13 hours.
I'm telling you, that was ugly. I'll never forget it. I was a principal at Mayfield. Stepped out on the porch. I heard all these sirens. I stepped out on the porch, and I looked towards Charleston, saw that smoke going up.
That mushroom cloud that I saw.
Yeah, I said, I knew there had to be something bad there. And
it was such a bright day that day. And I remember when I got out of the parking lot at Bradley High School and turned north on South Lee Highway, and you could see it from there.
Yeah, it was. I remember the story, too. I think the deputies were out there trying to flag people down.
That'd be
not to drive. into the fog, and they just blew around by, and you could hear them crashing.
Oh,
so not
sad.
knowing, but just trying to prevent
people,
more people losing
why
lives.
can people not understand when you
Yeah.
can't see?
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway,
Don't that mean go faster?
I'm afraid sometimes that's isn't that what a caution light means?
Yes.
Caution light
Yes.
means
In
step
the,
on it.
in the rural area, what some of the challenges you have that's, I'm thinking of fire hydrants and stuff that you may not have in rural areas, and some of the other challenges of, employment and stuff, and
Yeah.
trying to find good people. What are some of the challenges that you have in the fire department?
Some of the challenges, if you want to talk about water supply is very important.
Yeah.
We have, matter of fact, we've been working on it last week. We're actually dealing with the ISO ratings that keep your insurance probably at the best rate we can get it. The thing that we've been doing is going around all the water districts, getting an updated list of where the fire hydrants are. When Bradley County was formed, their full-time fire department, one of the big things that had to happen was you got to know what apparatus you need. You have your fire engines, but then you have tankers, which haul more water.
Right.
We had to get a lot of those for Bradley County because you need that water. Once you start attacking the fire, you don't need to lose control of it. So we actually respond four companies on a structure fire automatically get knocked out. The first engine company that's in their district, let's say it's out in the Hopewell area, so that'd be 13 out there. So they would start responding to the fire, and their tanker's still sitting in the station. But everybody that's coming behind them to come back that up, the other three engine companies, they're bringing their engine and their tanker truck so that the water supply is up. Whether we know we have that hydrant there or not, we're trying to go ahead and make it idiot-proof and say we're going to have enough water.
Does the
there.
county have hydrants all the way through the county, or is there
Not all the way through the
Okay.
county, but it's actually a
large part of it?
large part of it, yes. We're actually doing percentages of how much is covered now. We actually take each fire hydrant, it's plotted on a map, and then there's a 1,000-foot ring around that thing because that's usually how much hose you have on your truck, on the hose bed, 5-inch large diameter hose to supply off of that. So we plot all that out and know what our limitations are. You do tanker shuttles. If you're, let's say, 2 or 3 miles from a closest hydrant at your fire, then those 3 trucks will take turns filling up that hydrant, going back and dropping on a driveway line and shooting water into that truck. And usually you try to have them stacked up to where they get in. We actually assign someone the job of water supply, being in charge of making sure that water keeps flowing if you're not on a hydrant close to the residents. That's one thing the city has that's very nice is all the city is covered by hydrants very well. I remember Chief Harrison called me a couple of months ago, and he said that their tanker truck was down, didn't know when it would be back up, and wanted to know if they needed one, if they could holler. We have a great relationship with the Cleveland Fire Department. Chief Harrison does a great job.
He said the very same thing about you.
Yeah, he did.
Good,
Yeah, I talked to him the other day, and he respected you highly on that part.
Ron is a very
lot of
good
good
man.
things to say about you.
We lean on each other, and I go consult with him. He consults with me on some
good.
things. We have
Right
a
on
good
to be.
relationship.
Part
But
of that soapbox.
one of the other challenges that we face is our volunteers. Not that the ones we have are great, but I guess the volunteer spirit is not what it used to be. Back when I was at Charleston Volunteer Fire Department, one of the things Dave Thompson told me was, the chief at that time up there, he said, now if it's a car fire over here in Charleston and you're coming from over across that ridge, don't worry about coming over here. There'll be plenty of people take it. Don't hurt yourself or nothing. The thing about it, back in the day when Bradley County was just a rescue squad and Charleston was the only volunteer fire department in the county, there would probably be 30 to 40 cars there on anything minute. And if it was large, you may have 70 vehicles show up. These days, that number's dropped, and it's just the change of how busy people are and what goes on, families and stuff like that. So, but that's a nationwide problem as far as volunteers, and a lot of volunteer fire departments are still out there. They probably still outweigh the full-time fire departments.
Struggling.
Yes. Yeah, and of course now too, with all the modern mechanisms and all the modern fire equipment and all that kind of stuff, I guess I don't want to say it's easier, but there are a lot more things you can do now that you couldn't do. And I think probably too many people rely on that more than But again, I think that was that process of volunteerism was probably developed out of the family.
Yeah.
There's, mom, dad, everybody was involved. I know my family in New York, that was the way it was. Everybody, mom, dad, the kids, they all were brought up and to volunteer.
Yeah.
That was just it. That was just
Absolutely.
part of your bringing up.
Well, the same way with fire department, you see a lot of generations
Yes.
following footsteps of grandfather, father. I mean, they get excited, and they're part of that also. So
Sure.
it's kind of a heritage you build in with that part
Absolutely.
and a pride.
Yeah. All right, folks, this is Coach Schriver on the morning show here on Whoop FM 99.9. Hope you're doing well out there, being safe. We're here with Mr. Fairbanks, and if you have a question you'd like to call and ask him something, 614-5553, and I'm sure we'll find an answer for you. Love to hear from you. Apologize again for the earlier problems. That was my fault. Actually, it wasn't the playback. It's I still had my phone on. And so normally I have it turned off, and I'm sorry about that. That's the way it is, right?
Okay,
here
you
in
got some
River
music?
City.
I got another song here.
Hey, let's
take
do
a little
it. Let's
break
do it.
here.
All right.
A fireman called Angel. Okay,
All right.
here we go.
Let's go.
On a table in the den sits an old fireman's helmet beneath the flag, and a frame on the wall, and a picture stained with tears beside a badge of 20 years. Nobody knew it would be his last call. In his early days at the FDNY, there were close calls, didn't think he'd get through. Then came ground zero, now they call him a hero. He would have said, it's just a job that I do. He was gentle and kind, put his life on the line for folks he never even knew. And now a gray marble stone stands engraved with his name. Here lies a fireman they called an angel, who walked through the flames. I stopped by to see him just the other day. Said, Dad, we're so proud of you, and even though you're gone, your memory lives on, my true hero of the red, white, and blue. You were gentle and kind, you put your life on the line for folks you never even knew. And now a gray marble stone stands engraved with your name. Here lies a fireman they called an angel, who walked through the flames. Just like your fallen brothers who stood by one another, you were a fireman they called an angel, who walked through the flames.
There we go, Coach.
2 3 2 4 2 8 8
It's been forwarded.
7 is not available.
Okay, folks, welcome back to Whoop FM here. I was trying to wake up our mayor
Or
and try to get a rise out of him this morning, but he's probably out there with that liars group over there at the old fort. So anyway, good to have you back with us here.
Just a reminder, Gary Davis, it is payday.
Oh yeah, see that's what we were trying to
is
do.
payday.
we wanted him to understand, that he needs to sign those checks and make sure things are going good over there at the office building there. Of course, now the offices are strung all over with the closing of the courthouse. But anyway, we'll harass him a little bit more some other time on that. Anyway, we got, again, Mr. Fairbanks, Sean Fairbanks, with us with Bradley County Emergency Management, and appreciate him coming in and giving us some background and on what's going on out there for us. Another great service for us, folks. This is what we've been trying to do over the last few months, is talk about our local service organizations, our education, fire, police. I mean, it's just so important, all the things that we have going on. And we had another good interview yesterday with the Pink Ladies from down at Memorial, talking about cancer and all that, Mary Ellen Loker. And my sidekick here, he put out a little challenge there, and we're going to talk a little more about that later. But we've decided that next Thursday we're going to dress in pink. Is that right, sir?
That's right. You got to listen in, not listen in, but live stream us in. You'll be able to see Coach Schriver myself
scary.
Dressed up in pink. So this is the hype now.
I'm not sure what this guy's getting me into, folks, but this could be ugly.
One of a time. You've got to watch Thursday.
Oh, geez. I tell you what, this is going to be too much. Plus, we're going to put a little challenge out there to Mr. Hartline and his crew over there at that other station. And now they're not the strongest station out of the Village Town Center. Really, we are the strongest station out of the Village Green Town Center here. And we were able to have the Pink Ladies in here yesterday for us first before they went to see him. They knew which one to come to first, right?
Well, yeah, they just, he's getting the breadcrumbs from us, right?
That's right. We just
seconds.
Yeah, we talked them to death, and we just kind of sent them over there to give him a little insight.
We prepped them before they sent them over there. Remember, next week it is Paint Town Pink in Chattanooga, and they challenged the Cleveland people, restaurants, everybody to wear pink to get your staff or anybody to do pink next week to recognize breast cancer.
Yeah, this will be a good thing to do at schools, work sessions. And, again, we're going to have a big blowout on Thursday right here in the morning on the Whoop. Coach Schriver on the radio here. So if you want to see us on the radio, you turn into it. I promise I'll have my phone off.
You've got to see us.
Oh, it's going to be
the same as
scary. I'm telling you, I'm not sure I'll be able to stand it myself. And
with the message, press 1 to listen.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn that off. See, I'm getting real good at this. You know what I mean? This is getting better. I think I'm getting worse instead of better. It's probably that sometimers I've got. I got that every now and then. Sometimers. You ever heard of that? You're too young.
I call it halfheimers.
Halfheimers. Okay, all right. Well, at least you got to roll with it, folks. That's just the way it is. We're human. All right. Again, right here on Coach Schriver and the Morning Show, Whoop FM 99.9. 614-5553. Give us a call here. We're going to let this young man go back to work here. I know he's got a lot to do, but we do appreciate you listening in, and we're going to throw out another song here, and then we'll be back and clean up the day. And plus, we got an extra guest coming on a little later. We're going to go a little longer today because we have this special celebrity in the community who's going to call us, or we're going to call him.
We're going to call him, Coach.
We're going to call him?
Yeah.
All right. And
I saw him the other day at at Larry's at Town Squire.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's uptown, isn't he?
Yeah, I asked him, I said, what's your heat's not working at your house? You have to come over here and keep yourself warm. And he says, Larry, I use your restroom. So he went back there, and he came out, and I think he had office supplies when he came out of the bathroom going back to the office. So
yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
You got to watch him sometimes.
I'm not so sure about that. Well, see, he can afford to go down there to Larry's. See, I have to go to Walmart and those kind of places to get my clothes. So, anyways, you can tell. Yeah. But again, we got a special guest coming on here a little after 8, and we're going to stick around for that. And we're going to let Mr. Fairbanks take off, and we want to thank him again. Sir, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Got a phone call, Coach.
Thank y'all for having me today.
All right. Welcome to Whoop.
Hey, Coach, what are you doing calling me this morning?
There's a man.
Hey, there's my man. All right. Thank you, big guy. We appreciate that. We got one of your cohorts here, Mr. Fairbanks.
Oh, hey, that's good. I'm glad to see Sean's up early at work this morning.
Yeah, I tell you what.
It's payday. I
He
came
was
in early.
he was concerned about payday. He didn't know if you'd signed the checks yet or anything like that. What do you think?
I told him it couldn't be after lunch. You can't pick
Checks
them
are
up.
signed and ready to go, but you can't pick them up till noon.
Can't pick them up till noon.
Sean did a wonderful job for us in here, Mayor. He's talked about the fire department EMS and everything. Has done a great job in
Great, yes.
presenting.
He's done a
material.
great interview, and we appreciate it. Are you over there with the boys?
Yeah, my advisors were telling me not to call you back, but as you can tell, I disregarded my advisors.
Oh, I think since you're the number one dog, that's the way it ought to be, and you tell them that I'm a little disappointed in their attitude that they think that you shouldn't call us back.
No, I appreciate it. I haven't gotten to hear Sean's interview with you all, but he's doing a great job, like you said, with the ambulance.
Well, it's archived, so if you want to listen to it later, you can. So, folks, listen, Gary, we appreciate you calling us back. We're sorry we bothered you, but you tell those guys there to get together there and try to do something good.
All right. You're not bothering me. I appreciate it. You have a
All right. Mayor Davis, he's going to come up for re-election again. Remember that? Mayor, you want to say anything about that while you're on the Whoop Radio?
Well, in about 3.5 months, I'd appreciate everyone's vote. I just hope to be able to keep my job.
All right.
Okay,
Sounds
buddy,
good,
you
Mayor.
take care.
All right.
Have a great day and a great weekend.
Thanks for the call.
All right. We did.
Made it in the nick of time.
Huh? That's
Made it
right.
in the
That's
nick of
right.
time.
Okay, let's go. Let's have us another piece of music here, and then we'll be back.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way, yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. I like smoking lightning. Heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under. Yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like a true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never wanna die. Born to be wild. Born to be wild. Get some motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way, yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of your guns at once and explode into space. Like the true nature's child, we were born to be wild. We can climb so high, I never wanna die.
right, folks, welcome back to Whoop FM, Coach Schriver Show, 99.9 FM on the radio. Just had a great interview with our Bradley Emergency Service Management Director, Mr. Sean Fairbanks. It was great. Remember now, it's real cold out there this morning, 19 for here, 25 tonight. Going to warm up on the weekend. Remember tomorrow we got a wrestling show at 9 o'clock. Myself and Mr. Logsdon, Coach Logsdon and Bradley, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the lineups here for our local wrestling teams. I was going to try to go over that this morning, but we're kind of pushing the envelope.
We got time, Coach. We'll be here for 15 more minutes. So
all right,
after that,
let's go ahead and tell you about that right now. We've got the rankings for the state. Cleveland is number 1. Bradley is number 3 in the duels, number 7 in the regular school rankings out of the TSSA rankings there. And just to run down some quick ones on some of our local individuals. At 106 pounds, we got Trey McDaniel of Cleveland. He's number 2 in the state, folks. This is a freshman, okay? 113, we got Chandler Davis of Walker Valley, number 1. What a great place for that. Wes Devaney from Bradley is number 2, and Jackson Bradford from Cleveland is number 6. That's at 113. We don't have any of our locals at 120. At 126, we got Bryce Pond of Cleveland. He's 2nd in the state. That's pretty impressive right there. He's a senior. Okay, at 132, we got Jace Mullen. He's number 6, and he's a senior also. At 138, we got Logan Whiteside. He's number 5 at 138. I don't think we have any others there from our local area. 145, we got Cody Matthews of Cleveland, number 4. And at 152, we got Austin Sweeney. He's been injured now, but he's still hanging in there at number 5. Nobody locally at 160. 170, we've got Dylan Jones at number 5. And I got a feeling we're going to see Mr. Hedrick up there pretty soon. I tell you, he and Dylan had quite a fight last week in the Bradley Cleveland match. And, of course, Henley ended up outlasting Dylan there. At 182, we got Jack Hicks from Cleveland. He's number 3, another senior. And then at 195, we got DJ Gibson of Bradley, number 2 in the state. And then we don't have any, I don't think either anybody listed in there at 220, but at the heavyweight, Titus Swafford of Cleveland, he is number 2 in the state. Pretty impressive, folks, what these kids are doing. These are our local people, and we really appreciate it. So Coach Logsdon and I will be doing some more talk about that tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, so please tune in right here at Whoop FM.
Coach, what you said on that part, Cleveland is 10 out of 14 in the top 6 in their weight class.
Yep. And
that's strong. They're still ranked number 1 in both polls.
Yep.
Bradley's dropped down to number 7 in one poll.
Mm-hmm.
Also tonight, we got basketball tonight. We got Bradley Central up in Min County at 6, Walker Valley at Cleveland Arena. So people get out there and support our Raiders out there tonight. And Walker Valley also, it's a big rivalry here in town. So get out and have some dinner and spend some money in our community and get out and play watch some basketball.
Yes, let's always support our local groups, no matter what sports we're involved in or what activities we got going. And you can find something good out there going on constantly from our high schools, middle schools, and so forth.
Also, the girls' state bowling tournament, Coach, is up in Smyrna, Tennessee. Walker Valley girls are playing today at 12, starting a bracket on that. So they've always been strong in that division.
All right. Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, Bradley has bowling too, right?
Yes, they do.
They do.
They sure
Bradley,
do.
And I don't think Cleveland has it yet. I'm not quite sure when that'll come. We do know that they're going to start some Air Force ROTC next year, which I know is exciting.
Yep.
Again,
how about
next
girls
week.
Basketball?
Huh?
How about girls basketball at Tennessee?
Oh, golly.
We won't get into that,
folks,
Coach.
I went to bed sick last night. I was so happy in the first quarter. We're out there 23 points ahead, and And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh. Of course, that's why you have to finish the game.
Yep.
And then as it went along, we stayed ahead until the fourth quarter, and they just kept chipping away. Next thing you know, we've lost by 14. Now, that's quite a transition there, folks. And a little disappointed in the effort there at the end. Too many turnovers.
Yep.
I think they got tight. I think they've got to learn to play looser. They played the whole game like they played the first quarter. Hey, that's, sometimes you just get, you think too much. You get in that process. Just let it go. Let the natural abilities come out.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's why I'm not coaching up there. So, but again, hopefully they'll jump back there. But Notre Dame, I was proud of the way they hung in there. They never quit.
84-70.
When you're down by 23, sometimes you think, well, golly, just not our night. But boy, they never stopped. And so anyway, hopefully they'll jump back this weekend. I think they play again Sunday, and then I think the men play Saturday. I can't remember who they're playing, but I know it's South Carolina.
South Carolina.
At
South
Carolina.
Yeah, it's to be at 6:00 on ESPN too.
Yes,
televised. On that girls' game too, real quick, a little fact. The Lady Vols only scored 10 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Notre Dame scored 34.
34
over his turnovers.
Right there, that tells you something right there, folks.
So.
And that's at 23 points, right, eating up right there with no problem. So anyway, well, folks, we're a little after now. We're gonna still try to make a contact with Mr. Hartline and see if we can get him. Did you find that number, buddy?
I did.
Okay,
we'll call him about 10 after.
Try that.
He's doing news right now.
He's doing news. Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad to see he's still working and still
Yep.
got a job. Again, folks, next week we got Thursday. It's Pink Out Day here for us at the Whoop FM. So if you want to see a scary thing now, you just turn on here and get on the internet at whoopfm.com. Click on live, and there we'll be in all our glory. And I'm not sure what that glory is going to be, but it ought to be interesting.
You got to watch. Live stream it. It'll be one of a lifetime to watch.
Again, next week, the 22nd through the 27th, is peak week, and they're trying to do a lot of stuff here in Cleveland, encouraging businesses and stuff like that to support their employees to dress in pink and help fight cancer. It's a big thing, folks. This is something we all know someone. We all know someone who's been affected by cancer. We probably have someone in our family who has been affected by cancer. And so it's one of those unity type things, again, as we want to preach from our community, service and help for everyone. And so please, kind of help fall into that and work with that. And then, of course, be with us next Thursday. We'll be promoting this next week. Right now, we don't have any specific guests lined up next week. We may have before the weekend is over. I'll let you know on Sunday with my post. And then we will, if not, we will be right here doing local stuff and trying to give you a lot of good information about what's going on locally and everything else that's out there.
A little bit on national news, Coach. It was reported this morning that a third grader down in Alabama passed away because of the flu.
I tell you what, this flu thing.
That's a count of 20 this season that children have lost their lives in this flu season. So
it is so sad, folks. And the sad part about it is, it seems, the best I can tell, the two I was thinking about, the 10-year-old and the young lady who was a marathon runner. The health is not the healthy part is not always the situation. It's just the bug itself. This is ugly. And so if you haven't had your flu shots, get them. I got mine a little later, but I always get it. And so we'll
just Coach, let me have.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
That's
yeah, we're going to call Mr. Hartline here.
Yeah, about another 2 more minutes. We're going to call Mr. Hartline.
All right.
Also, too, you got the government showdown today. Shut down the showdown, I guess you'd call it.
All right, folks, this is the most ridiculous thing that there is. People holding our country hostage over immigrants, illegal immigrants. All right? Hey.
Not to pay our military.
No.
Okay? You're going to shut down. Military won't get paid.
This is ludicrous. Ludicrous. You don't shut down our country because something's not happened for illegals. You take care of your people first. You take care of your country. You take care of your veterans. You take care of your residents out there. Plus, all these Democrats or whomever they are out there trying to hold the line, you're representing people from your states. You know, they put you in there to take care of us, not put us in debt and not put us shut down the government. That shouldn't even be a point of issue. So let's get this thing going and get this straightened out. All right, trivia question of the day. You remember what it was? All right, Dick Van Dyke Show, first episode, was put on the air in 1961, and no one's called about who his wife was. Who played his wife on the Dick Van Dyke Show that aired in 1961 and was on for several years? Great show. Remember watching it? I think the series had like 15 Emmys, so it was on for a while. It was a good show. Anyway, if you didn't get that, that was Mary Tyler Moore. Mary Tyler Moore. She had her own show later on, and she was really a popular celebrity back then.
Also, Coach, debut today on 1955 Scrabble.
Oh yes,
everybody I think everybody's got that game at home.
Still going strong. And but anyway, a couple other things there, but I'm going to choose not to bring them up. I don't see any need. We got millionaire Howard Hughes flew his first monoplane. This was back in 1937. He single main wing plane from Los Angeles to Newark, New Jersey. There's another thing out there, trivia. You remember what his first big plane, the biggest plane, I think it was made of wood, if I'm not mistaken, what that was called? He barely got it off the ground. They did, but
it's a seaplane, though.
Yeah, see, it didn't, that's kind of weird. Seaplane made out of wood?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. All right, again, next week.
Mayflower was made out of wood. When
I understand. Hey, what do I know? All right, again, wrestling show tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Coach Steve Logsdon and myself. Tune in for that. Then it's going to be cold again today, so stay warm.
All right, let's give Steve a call.
All right, we're going to call Mr. Hartline and see if he's awake.
We're going to call the station right now. So,
hold on here for a very interesting.
Here we go.
Is he trying to avoid us?
Thank you for calling WCLE. No one is available to take your call at this time, but if you will leave your name, callback number, and a brief message after the tone, someone will get back to you as soon as possible.
Well, can you believe that?
Let me try him.
Hey, I tell you what, we're gonna give him a hard time about that because he was supposed to be right there for us so we could talk and pick on him and give him a hard time and harass him a little bit. Steve is a great guy. I tell you what, one of the nicest people I've ever known. Him and Mark Gibson and Grissom. I mean, I'm talking about Mark Grissom. Gibson's also a good guy, but Mark Grissom and Steve, great people. Any luck there? Still trying to raise the man up. He's not listening.
He said 8:10, give him a call.
Well, it's 8:11, 12. So try him one more time on that other phone and see what we can do. We'll give him one more shot. After that, we'll drop him.
Calling in right now on the phone line here, Coach, and put it on there.
Let's go, Heartline. Come on, big guy.
Hang on, let me try one more other number.
WCLE. No one is available to take your call.
All right.
Let me try one more number. One more number.
We'll try one more
I've got
number,
one
and then
right
we'll
here.
let you go, folks. We're sorry we're holding you up here. But again, the best you could be listening to is a little bit more.
Okay, here we go. Try it again, Coach.
Try it again?
Yep.
Calling Mix 1041 WCLE. We are currently on the phone with another listener. If you are calling to request a song for a contest or to get on the birthday list, please hang up and call back in a few minutes.
Nope.
Otherwise, leave your name.
Yeah, just cut it off, Coach. Let me try it one more time here.
All right, folks, we're going to get ready to send you home. We'll be back on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and also tomorrow, again, wrestling show at 9 o'clock. Going to talk about our local teams and how things are faring out as we push down towards the end, towards the tournaments. So, all right, folks, we're going to let you go. You have a great day. We appreciate you listening to us on the radio. And see you back here again Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. Have a great weekend. Be safe.